Hey guys, yours truly, Kevin Grace, reporting to you from Bethel, New York. Most of you probably don't know where Bethel is or heard of Bethel, but you probably know the iconic music festival that occurred here in the summer of '69. Actually, August the 15th, 16th, and 17th, 50 years ago to be exact. It was billed as Aquarian Experience, 3 days of peace and music, and it was that and much more. Probably one of the biggest music festivals at that time. It started at 50,000 people and grew to about an estimated crowd of 400,000 people that weekend. The first performer for Woodstock was Richie Havens. He started at 5 o'clock and it ended Monday morning. Jimi Hendrix, who was the highest paid musician for the festival at $18,000, played the Star Spangled Banner as the sun came up. Very iconic, beautiful. And behind me is a nice monument that was made here that a lot of people have been coming up and posing with. As you can see, the symbol for Woodstock, you see the guitar neck, and then you have a dove for peace. So it was definitely that. And here on the monument, you have the performers that appeared. Some performers couldn't get here because of traffic, and some performers had to be helicoptered in over to that area where that barn is, which was not there at that time, to come here for the festival. So this weekend there is a pavilion up on the hill. Ringo Starr from the Beatles will be performing on Friday. On Saturday, Carlos Santana, who was one of the original performers, will be here. And on Sunday, John Fogerty from Creedence Clearwater Revival will be performing as well. So a lot of people will be coming out this weekend, but it won't be as big as what they were trying to do for the Woodstock 50 concert, which got canceled, that Michael Lang was trying to put on at Watkins Glen. So unfortunately, there's nothing to commemorate that. But make sure you definitely check out the post office came up with these stamps for the 50th anniversary to commemorate that. So these are really nice. So they're on sale at the post office. Definitely check that out. And if you haven't seen Woodstock, make sure you get a copy of the Woodstock movie. And several years ago, I met Richie Havens. As I said, he was the opening performer. He has passed on since, and ironically, he got cremated, and his body is scattered on this field. And he signed my my copy of the Woodstock movie. As you see here, it says, "To Kevin Grace, a friend forever, Richie Havens." So he signed that for me. But if you ever get out here to Bethel, definitely come out and check out Woodstock. As you can see here, there's a peace sign and there's a 5, as in 50, because it is the golden anniversary of the Woodstock Festival. As you can see, I'm wearing my Jimi Hendrix shirt. This is the Woodstock shirt, and that's the reason why it's important. I'm in Bethel. This is the site of Woodstock. And behind me is where the stage was. And I'm at Bethel Woods. Today, it's a museum on top of the hill and also a amphitheater as well. This weekend, Ringo Starr from the Beatles will be performing. Carlos Santana, one of the original members of Woodstock, and John Fogerty from Creedence Clearwater Revival will be performing as well. So it'll be a nice turnout this weekend. A lot of people are expected. But right here was where the stage was. And unfortunately at that time in 1969, no, I was not here, but I was 6 years old, so I was a young baby. So I didn't get a chance to see this, but I did the next best thing. I talked to some people that attended Woodstock, and I've got them interviewed. So check out my YouTube page for those interviews, and make sure that if you like those interviews and this video, you subscribe to my YouTube page, because I'm always bringing you some interesting things. And you can see here in the graph where all the people were during that summer. There's a 5 and a O. As you can see, the O is in the symbol of the peace sign. It's the 50th anniversary, the golden anniversary of Woodstock. So it may be gone, but it's not forgotten. And 2017, this place was put on the National Historic Registrar. So as a history, it's a history to this place, so it will never be forgotten. And a lot of things happened that weekend. They ran out of food, there was rain, but there was no violence and no fighting. So they said the crowd was estimated at 400,000 people, which started as a paid festival, became free because people kicked down the fences to get into this place. And the promoters were no older than 27 years old, and they lost a lot of money, but they made some money with the film. But the legacy of Woodstock has grown. Unfortunately, there's no Woodstock 50 anniversary this year. That kind of fell through. One of the original promoters was trying to do something, and it fell through. But I said if I had any money, I would have done something smaller. I would still had some of the original people that performed on Woodstock do something here on the site, and you could have done something really nice. Now there's nothing, unfortunately. But make sure you go to the U.S. Post Office. They do have a commemorative stamp about Woodstock, so definitely check that out. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page and that you like this video.
Whitworth, and I was here 50 years ago in 1969. I was a 16-year-old runaway at the time, and I came up from Atlanta, Georgia. I caught a ride hitchhiking with Van Wing and a group of his friends. We got up here, and we were here 2 weeks early, so we were both able to get jobs working for the festival. I worked for Food for Love, and Van, he worked for security. I'm sorry for laughing, but I just have to laugh every time I think about that. But the atmosphere at that time was something that I believe that I really needed in my life, because my dad had been in Vietnam, and he had just gotten home, and it was like he had brought some of the war home with him, and I didn't want it, you know, and that's why I had wound up leaving. And but while we were here, the spirit, it's like a spirit that is here, you know, where we all came together. There was peace, there was love, there was sharing, you know, and even though it wasn't, our bodies weren't comfortable because of the rain and the cold and, you know, just everything that went on, you know, the lack of food running out and stuff like that, but we were united, you know, we were there for each other. And so, you know, I feel like we were, you know, it was quite an experience that has lasted for 50 years for me. So I'm 66 now, and I still believe in peace and love and togetherness.
And this was you when you were 16?
Yes, and I was in Life magazine.
So you're famous.
Almost.
Okay, so were you expecting your picture to be in there with so many people that were there?
No, it was a total shock.
And was a bottle of wine you were drinking?
Well, that was a bottle of wine, and this is the actual picture that was in Life magazine, and they cut the boy out, and later on I found out who the photographer was, and I went onto a site that he had, and I found that he had taken that picture.
Okay, wow. So who did you say your favorite performance was?
Well, I love watching Melanie. I was a fan of hers, and she wasn't real known at the time, but I just really, was into her music at that time and have always been.
And she's still touring. It's still, and you still see some of the acts that are still performing, whether it be Arlo Guthrie, and I see that Joan Baez, she's about to retire, and Larry Graham is still from Sly and the Family Stone, he's still around.
Yeah.
Billy Cox, Jimmy's bass player is still performing.
Yeah.
So the Who and what the Crosby, Still and Nash, they're still doing their thing. So it would have been great if they did a performance this year of that instead of trying to do a big to-do and kept it in Carlos Santana.
But this is going to be where the alumni are. This is like our class, graduation, this makes me feel like I'm with my people.
Okay. Tell me about the Peter Pan thing.
Okay, when I was living in Atlanta, I was 16-year-old runaway, and I was coming down the street one day up on the strip, and these guys were watching me, and they were messed up, and so I saw them looking at me, so I started skipping towards them. When I got up to them, they looked at me and they said, "Peter Pan." They said, "We're going to start calling you Peter Pan." And I said, "Oh no, don't call me that," and it stuck. It stuck.
It could have been Tinkerbell, but I don't know. Maybe that was a better name.
But anyways, so everybody knew me as Atlanta's Peter Pan back then.
And this gentleman here was your ride to Woodstock. What's your name?
So my name is Van Wing. And me and a group of my friends, when we heard about the festival, the plans for the festival, we purchased a $75 van, and we decided we were going to come up here. And I had a friend, Sissy Norwood, that knew Peter Pan and Dottie, who was her sidekick, and she said, "I want to go, and my two friends want to go too." And I said, "Well, that's fine, so we'll pick y'all all up." Celia's mother wouldn't let her go. We went downtown. Peter Pan piled in the van with Dottie, and we headed out for Atlantic City, New Jersey Pop Festival, which we went to August 1st and 2nd. And when that was over, we just came straight on up here. We were 2 weeks early. So we found out that they had an office over in Elliott Traber's hotel, and we went and applied for jobs and got jobs working the festival. That kept us alive. We had no money. We were just living off the fat of the land. And I never really knew Jeannie's real name till 3 years ago. On the internet, I saw pictures of her in Life magazine, and I said, "I knew that girl at Woodstock 50 years ago," and she said, "That was me." And so we reconnected. It was a beautiful thing.
How did you find each other through the internet? You saw the picture on the internet.
Her picture of her Life magazine picture, and I said, "I knew that girl."
And you got in touch with the magazine, and
she said, "No, on Facebook."
Somebody had posted a picture of my picture that was in Life magazine on Facebook, on one of the Woodstock Facebook pages, and I had posted below it when I saw it. I said, "This is a picture of me when I was 16 years old." Well, as it turned out, Van happened to see that picture, and next thing I know, he sent a message through Facebook, and he says, I knew that girl. And I said, "Well, I am that girl."
Jeannie Whitworth. She said, "My name's Jeannie Whitworth," and I didn't know her name up until 3 years ago. 48, 45, 40, whatever it is, years, I never knew her real name. I knew her picture, though.
Yeah, 47 years.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Now, you were supposed to be working security. What were you doing, and did anybody get out of hand or crazy? Or
Never saw any problems at all. Me and my friend Randy Abernathy, they flew in sandwiches with helicopters, and we filled up a cube van with it. And our job, the only thing I really remember, because it's all a haze, I remember they tasked us with driving from that field to the top of that hill with a truckload of sandwiches through the crowd on Saturday night.
That had to be
And
awfully
it took us
hard.
took us like
Yeah.
4 hours. I mean, Randy's in the back of the truck handing out sandwiches as we go, and I'm driving, and we probably did 2 miles an hour because the crowd had to part. When we got to the top of the hill, I think Jeannie was working the sandwich.
Yeah,
stand.
I
we
was
didn't know
working
it.
up at the top of the hill.
truck's empty.
And for Food for Love in the concession stand, and our stand ran out of food. And as it turned out, I'm sure he was bringing the food up there to us, and that's why we, ran out of food.
Randy had given
Randy
away.
had given away all the sandwiches.
Now, what were the sandwiches made out of? And I heard later the food was rice and granola.
Oh, that was with the hog farmers.
Okay,
The hog
wavy gravy and this.
Yeah, they had a free kitchen set up, and that was with the granola and oh wow, the rice and bulgur and all kinds of stuff.
What were the bologna sandwiches you were giving out, or what was?
I don't even remember eating the whole 3 days. I swear. She remembers feeding people, but I don't remember eating. It was a purple haze.
Did you enjoy some of the music?
Oh yeah, I love the music.
Did you meet any of the acts? Any of the
We went
musicians?
down. Me and Randy actually went down and hung out backstage some, but we were so intimidated by it all. We were afraid we would get caught as being imposters down there in the entertainers area, and we didn't really speak to anybody.
But who do you remember seeing?
Saw Pete Townsend down there, and saw Janis Joplin, and saw Grace Slick. Saw a lot of people. We just sat around on the tables and kind of tried to be inconspicuous because we had passes, but we knew we didn't belong there. So
Wow.
we didn't want to get caught.
Wow. Does the area still look somewhat, well, besides some of the trees, look?
It does. You can't see the lake now. You could have seen the lake back then from the top of the hill here, where everybody went swimming and bathed. And up here, the trees, that's where the bazaar was, and it looks pretty similar. From the crossroads are laid out the same here, where they crossed, and up there was the pass through the trees, and it does look very familiar, but the trees have grown up. Of course, none of these little spruce trees and all were here at the time. That house wasn't down there, of course.
To Atlantic City, New Jersey, and to the Atlantic City Pop Festival with them. I didn't know anything about it at the time, but I went.
Were tickets expensive to get into there?
We
hey.
climbed the fence. We didn't have tickets. We didn't know anything about tickets. We had 7 people. We probably didn't have $100 between all of us when we left Atlanta. So we were living off the fat of the land.
So security didn't say something, or like, hey, what do you
I'm sure that they would have.
We climbed a big high fence, a big chain link fence, and I didn't want to say, oh, I'm scared to climb this fence. So they all climbed over, and I was the last one up and over, and boy, we ran like the devil, to get in where the people were at. We had run across this big field, and I was like, oh my gosh, I bet they're right on my tail, but when I turned around, nobody was there. So we managed to get in, and each day we climbed that fence, but when we were coming out at night to go back to this campground where we were going to be staying at, we came through the front gate because they're not checking tickets. When you're leaving, they're checking the tickets when you're going in. But the festival there was a lot different, in my opinion, because it seemed like a lot wilder, with the people, and it was a lot more, what would you say, high intensity, because we had a little Richard there, and he was playing his white baby grand piano up there, and he said, come on up here, and some of you ladies and whatever, come on up here and dance, so Dottie and I, we looked at each other and said, we're getting up there, you know, we were dancing around, you know.
So where was the festival held at in Atlantic
It
City?
was held, do you remember?
It was a racetrack outside of Atlantic City.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is. So it was the Atlantic City racetrack.
A campground called Deer Run Campground,
Deer
which I don't
Run
know if it's still there or not. It's been 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, the racetrack is still, I think they closed it, but they may be simulcasting, no horse racing, but yeah, I think the building is still there and also, wow, okay.
So it was quite a experience.
Had a great lineup.
Right.
Yeah, they really did.
I can't recall off the top of my head who I played with. There's a lot of the same people that played like the festival circuit, you know, is what you'd say. Janis Joplin, Johnny Winter, people like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Orrin Whitworth. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia area, and in August of 1969, I'd been drafted like a month before, so I was still in basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia during the concert. We didn't even know about it then. We had heard nothing about it. It was much later. I think in Vietnam, some people had told us about it. We heard about it and everything. So when the album came out in the movie, in fact, I was on a military base when we saw the movie, and everybody was really excited. A lot of people don't realize it, but most of the GIs and stuff, we were young and stuff, and so we dug the music and everything, and we were all wishing we were there instead of being in Vietnam. But yeah, and then of course I met my wife, and she had been here and worked up here, but we shared the same spirit. We might have been halfway across the world, but we shared that same spirit with everybody here. Of course, I've had goosebumps just coming up here, even though I wasn't here. Just going to the museum and seeing the site, it's just incredible. And, obviously, I wished I'd have been here, but I couldn't. But I've kind of lived it through my wife. She's told me so much about it and everything. So it's really cool to come up here.
And your wife is?
Jeannie Whitworth, yeah. And so this is the first time she's been back since 50 years ago, so that's been really, really cool for her. So we're really enjoying it. We're looking forward to the concerts and meeting some more people that she probably knows.
And I think it's supposed to be raining for you, so you'll have that same memory.
We'll have to deal with that, I guess, but I guess that would be fitting, wouldn't it? Have to go through that again, maybe not. But she's got Woodstock experience with rain. I've got Army experience with rain, so maybe we'll be okay.
My name is Sam Carpenter. I'm from Port Leyden, New York, originally. I live in Oregon and Kentucky now. And we were here 50 years ago tomorrow, which would be August 15th. And we got here just in time for the music to start. And favorite acts, Creedence Clearwater was unbelievable. Santana, nobody had heard of Santana. They were one of the first acts. They were incredible, just incredible. All the music was good. Grateful Dead was a disappointment. Jefferson Airplane was a disappointment. But a lot of the Sweetwater, which the band ended just a year or two after, was incredible. Nancy Nevins had an awful car accident. Those are the three acts I remember the best, but the music was mostly very, very good. And we stayed right up until just before Jimi Hendrix, and I don't think we were thinking straight. To miss Jimi Hendrix was insane. But we were here through the rain, and it was cold. Everybody was in jeans and t-shirts, but we stuck it out the best we could. And I'll tell you, when that rain came down, it came down hard. It came down really, really hard and cold. This is mid-August when this happened. Yeah, well, in the museum it was very nice. It covered everything. It covered the politics of the time. It covered everything. But there's very little on how stoned everybody was. There was a lot of drugs, a lot of marijuana, a lot of cannabis, and that was what this was about a lot, was everybody was stoned and having a party, and that's fine. That's all right for the times. But that's what I remember a lot about. And I stayed pretty straight the whole time.
See a lot of people doing acid?
Oh yeah, there was bad trips. There were people in bad shape. But generally it wasn't too bad. The third day it started to get a little hairy, a little weird somehow. And it was muddy and filthy. The food was low. People were crashing but it wasn't a nightmare like maybe Altamont was. Some of the other concerts. It really left a good feeling, and I'm so happy we went. My friend John and I came to this.
And you said you got tickets how?
We got tickets. We were coming into the traffic jam. We hadn't bought tickets. We were hoping to get in somehow. And a guy came by in a convertible and said, "Does anybody want to buy tickets?" And I said, "Yeah, how much?" And $20 for 3 days. And I think the tickets were $6 a day, right? And so he made $2. But I'll bet you, if he's still alive, I'll bet you he regrets selling me those tickets for $20. He knew already that the tickets were not necessary. I was getting ripped off, but it was okay.
The gates that got smashed down by that time.
He knew that because he was coming back the other way from the venue. See, back that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
The where did you say the stage was from?
The stage, I
remember?
believe, was down in this flat here, and it was a gigantic stage. You can see the kind of fabric fence on the right, and then you can see the rubble on the left. I don't know just what they did at the time, but there was a big flat area, and that stage was that big. It was a huge stage, and I think that's where it was.
And the acoustics were good. You can hear the music.
Yeah, the sound was great. Whoever did the sound at the last minute here, it was really good. There were no problems that I could see. John Fogerty doesn't agree.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is John Wesley Chisholm. I'm producer of a television show called the Woodstock Light Bus. And for the last 2 years, we've been restoring and repainting this bus. We're actually still working on it the night before Woodstock, as you can see. It was originally painted by this guy named Dr. Bob Hieronymus. And his friends, who had a band called Light, took it up to Woodstock 50 years ago, parked it right over there by those porta potties, and we wanted to bring it back for the 50th anniversary and tell a story about it. And we're here, finally. And that's my story.
Finally, the bus has returned to Woodstock.
50 years later. And you can see the documentary on CuriosityStream in America.
So what's the website for that?
It's curiositystream.com, and you want to see more stories about the bus, it's at woodstockvwbus.com.
Okay. And then the reason why it's got the Maryland plates is because...
So the artist, Dr. Bob, is from Maryland, and the band was based in Baltimore. They all lived at a commune down in Baltimore 50 years ago. And so once we got the bus restored and repainted, we gave the original artist the pink slip because this is his masterpiece, and he never really got credit for it. Everybody took pictures of it 50 years ago here. A really famous photo went out on the AP wire of two hippies sitting on top of the bus, and that photo became kind of a shorthand for Woodstock, but Dr. Bob really never got credit for his artwork, so that was our mission to get him some credit where credit is due.
But then even a license plate says
50-year historic, that's appropriate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right.
First class with a K.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down in a second here. You got this guy.
Hey, I like your Hendrix t-shirt.
I cut my hair off.
Oh, you're getting your seam.
Thank you. Let's go.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Duke Devlin. I attended the Woodstock Music and Art Fair in 1969. Back at that time, I was living in Texas, in Amarillo, Texas. I was staying in a small commune, and I met a fella who wanted to come to Pennsylvania to visit his girlfriend. He needed a road buddy, and I told him. He asked me. I said no. I said I'm familiar with the area because I was born in New Jersey, so I knew the area. But so anyway, make a long story short, he couldn't find anybody to go with him. I felt bad for him. I said, I'll tell you what, man, I'll go with you, but we're not going to stay that long. Well, on the way up, we started to hear these. We were hitching. On the way up, we heard these little inklings about this festival they were talking about. It's supposed to be on a farm, and it's all these great bands are going to be playing in a pasture or cornfield or something. And I said, nah, that can't happen. That's too. That's. I don't think this is real. But we heard more and more and more about it. And then, later on we found out, that the Woodstock event was targeting the college crowd. They sent the colleges all these different boxes of flyers and pamphlets, because, we didn't have internet or nothing back like that in those days. So, but on that pamphlet, he got a flyer, one of the flyers that said, had the list of performers, the who's who of the culture. Jimmy and Janice, the king and the queen. Whoa, man, for 3 days. It's going to be on a farm, and there's going to be an Indian village, and there's going to be a petting zoo. And on the bottom it said, breathe air, it's never been breathed before. I said, oh man, this is too cool. So after we got to Pennsylvania, his girlfriend was gone. His heart was broke for a little while. And then we hitchhiked up here, and we got up here, I'd say it must have been a week or so before the show, and there was a lot of people here moving around, a lot of the stage being erected, and the roads were a lot of traffic. I thought that was the call of the day. I thought it was regular traffic that they had here. I didn't realize it. It was already traffic coming in for the festival. And we hung out, having a good time, meeting different people. A hog farm was here, a commune from New Mexico, who I have heard about, and hung around with them for a while. And then me and my friend, we got separated out here at the end of the road, and I haven't seen him since. I mean, that's how things were in those days, But anyway, I lived that whole weekend here. I mean, it was very safe. You felt like it was the safest place to be, The sense of community that we all had was real. People cared for each other, You knew something was really good here. Something was really great. And, and when it all happened, the weather conditions were terrible. The sound system was breaking down. There was a shortage of food. There was all these things that could make it go wrong, but everything went right. Everything went right, When it rained and we had mud, we played in the mud. All right. I considered we were the world's first water park, man, But the weekend ended, it was a 3-day event that actually went into the 4th day, with Hendrix coming on Monday morning, witnessing that. It was almost like dreamland for me, because I was pretty hazy, pretty exhausted, I had some herbs and spices working on me, you know what I mean? And but when he went on, it was magic, and then it was over with. Nobody was here, everybody left, and I stayed on, and I camped over here by Filippini Pond, where we were skinny dipping at. A nice little camp there. I had friends. We got hired to clean up the site, and which was easy to clean because it was wide open. The hardest part was to clean in all these woods. You had to carry everything out to the road, and we had sticks with nails in it. There was just stuff all over the place, and we found cans of corn, cans of peas, and Spam, things people left behind, and we hoarded that. And we said, oh man, we can sit the winter out here with this, well, it never happened to me, but I landed the job. I was on my way out of town, and I was heading back to the Southwest, and I didn't get too far. I got to a bar out here, a great bar called Hector's Inn. The people were very, very nice. They were really good to me. And there was something there, a guy sitting there, he said, he owned some bungalows. He said, hey hippie, do you know how to paint paint? I said, yeah. He said, I got some bungalows I need to be painted. I said, I'll paint them if you let me sleep in them. And that's how that all happened. That's why I stayed on. Next thing you know, it was Thanksgiving. And I had a lot of invitations to, I made a lot of friends here because, I got a little bit of like celebrityism out of it, you know. Hey, he's the hippie that never left. And anyway, I stayed on.
Go ahead.
This here is a shot of where we're parked right now where the Artist Pavilion was. You see these poles? It was like a big wagon wheel with a canvas top over it. There's where the artists were catered to. Over here was the heliport. They got out of the heliport and went here. When a call came to go on stage, they went up this ramp, a bridge over the road, onto the stage. So this side of the road was all backstage area. Matter of fact, they got a fine for building a bridge across the public road, but I don't think it was really enforced.
This was the site of the artist's tent. Right here, and over here was the bridge that we just showed you, and you can see the rock straight ahead is the stage. Right here is the spot where the stage was. This is where all the iconic moments were. Jimi Hendrix flashing the peace sign, playing the Star Spangled Banner. This is where Janis Joplin performed. This is where The Who, Johnny Winters, Richie Havens, all of it happened right here in this spot. And again, the anniversary is approaching again. So this will be the 52nd year that Woodstock happened, and people still come from all over to bring back those memories and relive memories. And actually on top of the hill is a music venue, and they have some different shows over the summertime. There's a little pavilion and also a museum, the Woodstock Museum, so definitely check that out if you ever come out here. But this is the iconic place, and it's funny, right there we got the peace sign, and we have some people sitting right in the middle of the peace sign on top of the hill. So you could imagine how it was. This place had over 400,000 people that weekend. These trees weren't here, and just people everywhere. Anyway, make sure you look out for my vlog, my video project. I'll have different interviews with people that came here to Woodstock, and even some musicians over the years that I met that played Woodstock. That'll be coming out soon. Hey guys, I want to show you something really cool. Behind me, I'm right here on the corner of West Shore and Hurd Street, right here in Bethel, New York, where Woodstock happened. Behind me, this tree is very iconic. If you look at any aerial photos, you'll see this tree, and it's a maple. It's over 100 some years old. This is where everybody would post their information if you were lost or found. But these other trees here were not here. But this is the only one, and it's still alive, but it's getting up there in age, and I think it's somewhat rotting away. But this is an iconic tree, and it's right here on the corner of West Shore and Hurd Road. But if you ever do come here, it's right around the corner from the Woodstock Monument, which is on the other side of that pine tree, and it's right here on the corner. So definitely check this out if it's still around. But this is they call it the information tree. Like I said, people would put up their notes here and everything else, but as you can see, this is a very old tree. And look at it, here's a nail in here and a couple other nails from back, I guess at that time. People would post different things, but this is definitely a historic thing. Hey guys, have you ever seen the iconic picture of the kids jumping into the lake and bathing themselves and skinny dipping? This is the lake right behind me. It's beautiful. And look at it, it's nice and pristine. Luckily, there's no development down here. You see there's some islands down there and everything else. This is really beautiful. I'm glad they haven't decided to commercialize this. This is just like it was in 1969, the summer of love. Hey guys, yours truly, Kevin Grace, reporting to you from Monticello, New York. I am here to pay my respects to the gentleman that, if not for his vision and his generosity, Woodstock would have never happened. Initially, Woodstock was supposed to have been held in Woodstock, New York, but once the locals there found out thousands of concert goers were going to descend upon the place, they passed an ordinance that only a few hundred or few thousand of concert goers could come. So that wasn't going to cut it for the concert organizers. So they scrambled and looked for another area to host the weekend of love, the summer of love concert, as you want to call it, and they wound up finding Bethel, New York, and that's where Max Yosker came in. He was a dairy farmer. He had about 600 acres, and he wound up renting the land for the concert. Now the concert was August the 15th to August the 18th, 1969. Now he did get sued by his neighbors back in January 1970 because of all the damage that the concert goers did to their property as well. He wound up passing away in 1973 at a young age of 53 years old from a heart attack. Now, who knows, it could have been from the stress of some of those lawsuits. He wound up selling his property in 1971. I think he sold it for about $1,000 an acre, but he is buried here. His wife died in 2014 and his son died in 2016, and they're buried here, and his daughter had died in the 70s. But they're at this plot here. Son Sam is right here. He doesn't have a headstone yet, just this marker saying his name, and Max is right here with his wife, and you have his daughter Louise. She passed away in 1977, and have another relative, Bella, who's buried over here. She passed away in 1973 as well. But you remember the iconic picture of Max holding the peace sign, talking to the concert goers. And you can see a lot of people have paid their respects. Old Jewish tradition is to leave a stone when you come to pay your respects. And he's got several of them. If you like this video, please subscribe down below. Click that red button and feel free to leave any comments about Max Yosker and give it a thumbs up as well.
We have a gentleman with us. It's the gentleman upon whose farm we are, Mr. Max Yosker.
gentlemen. I'm a farmer. I don't know. I don't know how to speak to 20 people at one time, let alone a crowd like this. But I think you people have proven something to the world. Not only to town of Bethel or Sullivan County or New York State, you've proven something to the world. This is the largest group of people ever assembled in one place. We have had no idea that there would be this size group. And because of that, you've had quite a few inconveniences as far as water and food and so forth. Your producers have done a mammoth job to see that you're taken care of. They enjoy a vote of thanks. But above that, the important thing that you've proven to the world is that 500,000 kids, and I call you kids because I have children older than you are, 500,000 young people can get together and have 3 days of fun and music, and have nothing but fun and music, and I God bless you for it.
So we invite you to feel that you are magnificent, you're significant, you're meaningful, and you can make miracles, and you can heal, you can create blessings and miracles. We don't see any wretched anything. We don't recognize wretched sin. That's bullshit. That's okay, I understand the fundamentals, whatever. But I'll go with Bob Marley. Bob Marley said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Take the time to validate and celebrate your own light inside your heart. Dig it? The last thing I want to say, I want to quote the great Godfather where he said, jump back and kiss yourself. You must validate and celebrate yourself every day, because we don't want to see victims or villains. We only want to see victorious. You dig it? So, if you get anything from this concert, walk tall with humility and go out there and heal this planet and people. God bless you. Thank you.
won't you ring, ring?